7 weeks old baby, so precious, so beautiful, magnificent eyes. זאת הקטנה גדולה תהיה. Okay, let's start with start again. Every time we stop, we start again. So every start, every beginning, pause, inhale, pause, exhale. We're in the zone, the chi flow zone. We point our middle finger at the target. We look into that target. We lock our eyes, our focus, our focal energy on that target, and we point each middle finger to that target precisely. So what we achieve focus and concentration. We employ now our brain, focusing together with the eyes, focus and concentration. Once we start with that, let's continue with similar movement, but this time 1 foot forward, and now we have our pelvis free to open and close this joint here like hinges of a door. So same concept of focusing your eyes and your middle finger, creating eye-hand connection, nerve to muscle connection, and very relaxed pelvis. Lower dantian is happy, and we change legs. It doesn't need to be for very long. You can do just 30-second or 1 minute, or just get your eyes focused on a point, get your fingers getting to that point, and get your pelvis to open and close, your hip joint to open and close, hand to eye connection, nerve to muscle connection. Okay, let's embrace the sky, move on. Move on with our warm-up. We're coming to joint rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sit on one foot, empty the other so it moves freely, and that rotation is make all your foot muscles flexible, all the joints in your foot working out. There's blood flowing to your feet. Your feet change directions. Your feet is the connection with earth. All the chi that you absorb, that you derive from the earth and to earth, goes through your feet, means there are pipelines. In fact, in the Tai Chi Classic, just like we have a center here, we have a center in our foot called the bubbling well. Bubbling well means it bubbles all the time. Either you're sinking down and your chi sinking into earth, you're rooting, or that you're going up, you're pushing the ground, the energy comes back through your feet into your body. So work on this connection between feet and ground, feet and earth, feet and roots. Gravitational force goes through your feet, and then you develop a spring in your foot. The sinking down brings springiness, if there's such a word, into your foot, into your feet. The beauty is that we don't have to think about the feet as we push the ground, because the feet are not leading. The leader, the spear, the head of the spear, the arrowhead, is actually our crown point. So when we sink down, the arrowhead, Rosh Chetz, is in our crown point. Practice that. Pushing earth pushes your crown up, and sinking into earth, letting your tailbone be the spearheading the body down. Tailbone leads down, crown leads up. Let's see how that works in a classic Tai Chi movement, okay? Brush knee. Now, the crown would be spiraling up, and now the tailbone would be spiraling down. If you become aware of this movement of your spine, spiraling up, it's spiraling down, you become connected with the very nature of water, which is the very nature of our planet Earth, spinning. And as the Earth spins and water spins through spiral, through whirlpool, so when your spine is spiraling down, all the fluid in your body becomes aware of the spiral movement. Because fluid, like water, all your blood system recognizes spirals, loves spirals, awakens by spirals. Cha, 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 cha. If you do one side, you must always do the other. So, nice arch between your knees. Inhale, spiral up. And it's a tiny movement, right? I mean, it's maybe 1 inch of going up to 1 inch sinking down, but that's enough for fluid. That's enough to embark, to awaken that spiral chi. And much slower. That's when the Tai Chi becomes very beneficial. I'm going to do it towards the camera. Much slower, we gain expanded awareness with more time in our brain to process the Chi flow. The slow movement gives us time, so you have more brain cells, more IQ dedicated towards the internal movement and not externally, not to be distracted by stimulus from the outside through the eyes, ears, nose. You observe the inner movement, the inner chi, the chi flow. You are in the chi flow zone. If I did it with that foot, I'll do it with the other. And now what I pay attention to on a deeper level, I won't say a higher level, but on a deeper level, is that my mind is not focused on the arms anymore, on the external, because as the Chinese saying goes, first the outside, then the inside. I go inside into my lower dantian, and I ask, what are you doing now? Ooh, you're spiraling backward up, forward down, and this becomes my center of the universe. This becomes my equator. And I'm with my equator. I'm with my central equilibrium. That's where we all want to get, is to find our center line, to find our central equilibrium through the Tai Chi, through the slow motion movement. Okay, let's move on. It's a continuous warm-up, so we did the joints at our heels, now we're coming up to our knees. We slide towards the knees and we rotate. We want to release the synovial fluid by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We climb up to our hip joints. We want large range of motion in the hip joints, so play with your tailbone, forward and back, forward and back. Feel your hip joints opening and closing, opening when you're forward, closing when you're back. Cha, 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 cha. Do 10, the other direction. 1, cha, 2, cha, 3, cha, 4, cha, 5, cha. We're still recording, yes we are. Cha. Okay, we did the simple warm-up to the hip joints. Now there's a more advanced. If we do that, with your center line forward and just open the hip joints. Not the body. The body doesn't turn. The body stays there. Lock the body and only work on that joint to open, and then land it and rise. Keep your body center line where you've risen, rised, and only open 90 degrees in the hip joint. That's a hip opener. Feel your hip joint reaching its max, but don't kill it. You just started the warm up, so realize what's your range of motion at this stage of the game. And sink. Now that we've opened it, we go back into the wave. Not go back, go first time into the wave. Now we can sink into our pelvic floor and feel the flow generated by the wave in the pelvic floor. Change directions. Awesome. I want to do one more version with feet closes at shoulder width and going through the smaller circle. Of course, what I want to do is to draw a circle up in front of my body, but immediately translate it, shift it towards my lower dantian, and feel that traction, feel the chi flow right in my stomach and back. Feel your spine. Go the other direction. Just make sure your hands and your lower dantian are working together. The more internally you can make it, the higher, the more advanced you are. The more you're connected with your inner master. Like every wheel has a center, has the axis. You find the axis as you build a wheel here. You want to find in that wheel what is the axis, what is the center point of that wheel. The hands help you actually. The hands draw the circle, draw the wheel, and dantian is a spinning wheel. What is dantian? Like chakra is a spinning wheel. What is sephirah? The 10 sephirot in the Kabbalah, it's Chaim model. Sphere is a spinning wheel. So you want to generate spinning wheels in your dantian. It's very advanced, but first the outside, then the inside, and you get it. You get it. You can also, once we now spin it left and right, if we put one foot forward, now we spin it forward and back. Start from big to small. So big wheel, and gradually, like you're peeling an onion, make it smaller and smaller and smaller until you feel that your dantian has now adapted the external movement and is shifting internally in that same direction, like the palms, like the arms. Yeah, they become one, exactly. The body moves as one. That's the saying in the classics. The body moves as one. Means the inside and the outside move together. It's very deep. It's a higher level. Change legs. Start again from big to small. Just like they say, first the outside, then the inside. And then from big to small. And that takes you right there. These two sayings, two expressions that takes you right there into your middle dantian, to your very inner central equilibrium. On a very higher level, I put my feet together. Now there is no forward and back, there's no big wheel, my feet doesn't participate in the same manner. And I do a smaller one, and I let my fingertips become like the conductor on the orchestra. When my fingertips are up, all the spine elongated. Your crown point is as high as it can get. When the fingertips sink down, your tailbone sinks as low as you can into your pelvic floor without bending too much of the knees. And feel the vertical pattern. It's called the intercosmic cycle in your body. We can go connection. Okay, we move from the hip joints to the shoulders, shoulders to ears. Take the shoulders up to your ears and drop. Drop, let the shoulders sink into the ground. Feel like you are deepening your shoulders into the ground. Feel the roots. And bounce the heels. And let the shoulders bounce accordingly. And then relax your heels on the ground and keep the bounce, short power coming into your shoulders. And now relax the shoulders and move it to your, now the shape, I want you to see the shape is this shape, and you bounce this way. So your wrist now takes that bounce that comes from the ground. A bit of a doggy breath. Feet together and feet together and drop and swing your arms. Beautiful. There was chi, there was movement, there was action, and the microphone dropped. That's a good sign. That means we are working with energy. We're moving from our shoulders to our elbows and wrists. Elbows and wrists. We take the two heads of the snake into the caves. The caves are here, not down here. That's cheating our body. Right into the caves, so we are actually manipulating and squeezing our lymph nodes, releasing lymphatic fluid into our blood circulation, which means it seals the blood circulation from bacteria, which means we're strengthening our immune system. So we want the hands to come straight into our armpit and out. Let's do one hand at a time. It takes us into the snake form. The snake coils down and spirals up. Coils down and up. That's also a warm-up for shoulder, elbow and wrist, because as you see, they're all turning together. They're becoming one. They work as one, as a chain with links between them. Of course, the links are the joints that connects all our bones, and that's beautiful. We worked the 3 joints and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now we have 14 in each palm. That's why we call it in Hebrew Yad. Yud Daled is 14. And how do we work on these 14? First, we just throw a tennis ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 41. Last 10, slower. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. With this hand, start slow and gradually build speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. And last 10, slow down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. And one more exercise that puts together connection, builds connection between the wrist and the spine. And I'll show it from the back. When my wrist goes up, look at my spine shifts from the center towards this foot, and when this wrist goes up, it shifts the other way. So I'm getting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. To build connection, it's like a chain with galgalei shinayim. How do you call it in the bicycle when you have what holds the chain? Is this the gear, the wheel with
wheels of teeth?
Wheels of teeth. Galgal shinayim. Wheels of teeth. Yeah, but there's another name for the
Gear.
Gear. So the gear, just like gear, you build gears between your hands and your joints, down in your pelvis, and you shift.
This is driven by the pelvis, not
Right, right. And the other way. Now we've worked the joints, and we're talking now about the neck muscles and the neck joints. How do I, personally I'm against all these, usually Japanese, karate way of warming up the head is taking the head down and doing the swivels, and it's a bit too manipulative on the very delicate vertebrae at our neck. Our way of doing it is make the neck on your nose follow your hands, just like in cloud hands, and you move your neck left and right. Or if we do the chop the air, we follow the hands and we move the neck upwards. And once we do upwards gradual, I take it all the way up above my head, and I make sure I have eye contact with my fingers. And if that's good, I now take my hand backward and I look at my palm and I make sure my neck turns. And now I know I've created full range of motion for my neck, and I don't get neck aches or any issues with my neck muscles. It's not pleasant when in Hebrew it's called nitfas li hatzavar, or when your neck is being stiff. We don't want stiff neck, and it's very important to give it range of motion, up and down, left and right, backward and forward. And you do it when it's amazing what we have in our brain, that when the eyes follow the hands, it doesn't put pressure or too much pressure on the neck muscles. But if we just tell without the eye, without the hands and the eye to hands, just tell the neck muscle, I want you to move and do these circles, it puts so much more pressure on these muscles, and it's much less pleasant for the vertebrae in the neck. Okay, let's move on.
Can I make a doctor comment again?
Doctor comment, let's hear David.
So, there's patterns of rotation that are integrated, starting in the pelvis, going all the way up the back.
You want to show us?
The neck. Well,
come show us, please.
I mean, what you're showing is something awesome, because this thing contrasting sort of the move your head way versus start at your pelvis and just let your head follow.
Right.
Because when I start at my pelvis, it's already beginning to inhibit the muscles of my neck that turn that way. So it's already freeing me to move.
Right.
So there's a coordination that allows a freedom to rotate right, which relaxes all of the patterns of rotation left.
Beautiful.
And so if I'm just turning to the right, but all of my left rotation is still activated, I'm working against myself.
Right.
And this is like working as one unit to free up the whole
Working
system.
as one unit. I love it.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. I see a lot of people with neck pain.
Exactly.
And like you go like this and you're just working against it and you're stretching against yourself.
Oh no, not good. Thank you. 3 valuable doctor's comments, reiterating. So we're moving, now that we've worked on our joints and we did the joints warm-up, we go into circular patterns of the Tai Chi Gong, and we call it Tai Chi Gong because they circular energy patterns that comes from Tai Chi, from Qigong, from Xingyi Chuan, from Bakwa, and there are many forms of Qigong, of course. So let's take one of them called from the Badwan Jin, the 8 pieces of brocade, called the bow and arrow. And you can see where the Chinese took it from the Zen and the art of archery. We can hear the irrigation system. It's not me or David generating the sounds. here also we focus hand and eye coordination to a target. When we release the arrow, we want to see the arrow hitting the target and feel faked success of hitting the target spot on. And that's happiness, right? When you hit the target, no matter what target, whatever target you have in life, you hit the target, that's achievement, that's happiness. These are dopamines released from your brain. So although it's sometimes the brain can't tell if it's a fake success or real success, well, you fake it until you feel it, until you make it. The dopamine, serotonin, all these good neurotransmitters from your brain are released, so you actually entice them, you move them to be released. You move the neurotransmitters to transmit these great materials that in our brain. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, adrenaline glands. So here you are. You stretch and you let go with exhale, hitting the target, spot on. That's great. Let's move on to a vertical pattern, vertical energy pattern called the lion plays with the ball. We carry a ball, south pole, north pole, and we follow the eyes, follow the south pole while the north pole goes over our eyebrows, behind our ears, and shift. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Cha, 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 cha. You work out your back. Your back is very happy now, stretching, opening and closing. Your intercostal muscles, if I do it, if I freeze for a second, all your intercostal muscles on this side now are open while these ones are closed. So your rib cage becomes like an accordion, opening and closing as you do that. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, cha, cha, cha. And if you pay attention to my hip joints, I let them be loose and free. They are roaming forward and back. What the hip joint does is every time the hand comes from over the ear and down here, the hand and hip joints go out together. Hand and hip together. 1, 2. Until the hip takes control. And it's the hip joints that controls the speed of the hands and not the opposite. Cha, 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 cha. Question.
So it strikes me that this motion could be driven by my right hip going back or my left hip going forward.
Exactly.
Both, or is it more of a receptive?
Together.
Okay.
Together, because what it is actually, I'm going to use that broomstick, will show us that when we do this, we rotate the spine this way, and when we do that, we rotate 45 degrees that way. So the spine does 1, 2, and that's maybe one of the greatest benefits besides the intercostal muscles, and the upper body derives great pleasure because you have lungs and heart here and other internal organs that enjoy this freedom of the cage, of the rib cage. The spine does 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know if the camera can see that. Very 1, 2. That's your spine as you do that. Yes, you can see, because we actually have this. You can see that. And this movement in the spine, now imagine vertebra, 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 vertebra. They're all going 1, 2, 1, 2. They do this. If this is a vertebra, they do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You could imagine how happy is your spinal cord. It's a party in there when you do this exercise. The dance of the spinal cord. Okay, so now there's 2 versions to do that. The first one is with free and loose hips. The second one is actually a great invention. I'm coming closer to the camera so you can see that now I'm freezing my hip joints. I'm not going to let them move at all, and the movement will now be forced to happen all in my rib cage. Look, my hip joints are not moving. My eyes are following the lower hand rising. I'm freeing my brain from stimulus, from external stimulus. Besides, eyes are locked on the hands, and I can feel now the energy coming down into my kidneys, going into, well, first kidneys, every hand that generates, it has not just speed, it has weight. So that weight sinks into your body and out, and you feel that wave in your kidneys. And then you go and visit your liver right here. I mean, if you look at my shirt, see how the lines in my shirt changes from this direction to that direction. Could you imagine what that liver is now thinking? Oh my God, the liver is happy because you stretch it and contract, expand and contract the liver area, bringing blood flow into the liver area and make the whole area of the liver happy because it gets a lot of oxygen with the blood, lots of good nutrients. So as we see, this internal exercise is basically inner gym. Today you're not going to the gym to work your muscles, you're going to internal gym to make your internal organs happy. Internal organs get energy. Again, freeze the hips, no movements in the hips. The last thing to move is your floating ribs. Yes, just the last lower things to move is your floating ribs. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, let's see one more version of that exercise. It's actually different than the first two. Now we release that ball that we were holding before. What's special about that ball is that North Pole and South Pole always face one another. And now we stretch our arm. I'll go back so you can see. It's like backstroke swimming. I'm stretching the arm as high as I can up there, stretching the muscles here. All the intercostal muscles are very happy in the front and in the back. And now I employ the lower hand to be an oar in the water, pushing water down, pedaling. And this lower hand pedaling in the water. Cha, 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 cha. So you're swimming backstroke without going to the swimming pool. Feel the connection between the palms and the feet. Cha, 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 cha. Yeah, 1 minute of that is great. Because again, your spine is also rotating left and right. And your entire system is awakened. Your entire skeleton, musculoskeletal system is awakened by this circular movement. Let's move on. And look at the time. We have time for a few more exercises. So just to repeat, we work together. Today we worked on cloud hands, on the wave, on blind place with a ball, on bow and arrow. We're shifting into, and the snake, we did the snake rotation, and we're shifting and we did the brush knee, right? All of this we've done today, this video. Let's do 3 more. We're going now into a calmer part of the session towards the end, as now we're calming down. And we'll take a classic exercise from the Tai Chi. It's called small Tai Chi. Grasp the sparrow's tail. That's the sequence name. Here we imagine there's a sparrow, a birdie, sitting here, and we grasp the sparrow's tail. Then let's do just that. In terms of Tai Chi movement, this is called press down, because we are pressing with our entire body weight into the ground down there, in our foot, with our foot into the ground, and with the hand into palm. So press down or grasp the sparrow's tail. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, press down, exhale, let go. Let's do it the other way. We place a branch of tree. The sparrow lands here. Take this hand with a deep inhalation. Open the lungs here. And you press down. Press down and grasp the sparrow's tail. of strength, power. You know that if someone comes to bump into you or just wants to push you, you can do ward off and ward them off with one hand. But if they're twice the size of your body and twice the weight of your body, maybe this structure, although it's very strong because you have an arch going all the way to your back, maybe it's not enough, and you need this arm to close the circle. And that arm here means now your skeleton developed just like the chair. I will demonstrate it this way. You know, the chair is, it can still hold, I'm not talking balance. The leg can still hold the chair on one leg. I mean, you see that it's not collapsing. Yes, it would lose balance, but it's not collapsing. It has the power to hold it. But when you put two together, it has double the power. I can sit on these two legs. Look, I can't sit on one leg, but I can sit on the two legs. Why? Because these two legs now, what you created here, you created this connection with the ground. Means this is now this. This is a much stronger structure than just one. So, as much as the chair has demonstrated it, this has enormous amount of power because it comes from the back foot, but it is double. You close, your skeleton is now supported. As a structure of bones, it's supported with a full circle. So, how do we work on that entire system? Let's do the entire sequence of grasp the sparrow's tail. In the form, we start with carrying a ball and ward off. What follows is roll back, leading to press down, grasp the sparrow's tail, which leads to roll back 2 hands and push. Open slowly. Carry a ball, you sit on your back foot, front foot is empty. Notice? Now that's the main value of yin and yang in terms of flow, chi flow, is the feet. Because this foot is empty of body weight and now you fill it up. It's like a fluid, liquid from your body streaming onto your front foot to create ward off. Ward off is with one hand. So carry a ball, come to ward off. Carry a ball, ward off. Who's active, who's passive? This hand is actually passive. It's just like a wood that floats into the water level, the floaty. This hand pushes the water. This is the counterbalancing of your power. It comes from that passive hand. Looks like passive, it's the active. Why active? Because it works with the back foot. See how it's like a lever. And continue with roll back, press down, roll back, and push. Open up, carry a ball, step on back foot, ward off, roll back, press down, roll back 2 hands, and push. One more time the other way. Carry a ball, ward off, roll back. After ward off, look what happened. This hand is half of a horizontal circle, right? Horizon, horizontal. But the moment you are here and you want to go to roll back, you drop the elbow, and now you're part of a vertical pattern, just like the one we did with the place with the ball. All you do is drop your elbow. Now your entire system is prone to, you are now adapted a vertical energy pattern. And with that energy pattern, you roll back and press down. Do just that. Roll back, press down, roll back, press down, roll back 2 hands, and push. You push with your pelvic floor, with your pelvis. Okay, that was small Tai Chi. They say these are the four most important movements of Tai Chi in the classics. Remember them? Ward off, roll back, press down. There's another roll back, but then push. Actually, there's five because roll back appears twice. Once with one hand rolling back, and the second time, two hands rolling back. But there's four movements, four very essential, the building blocks of Tai Chi.
It almost seems like this is a combined vertical and rotation energetic.
Yeah, the spiral there.
Yeah.
He just said combined. Did you see combined vertical and rotational, which brings you the word spiral. That's exactly the definition of spiral. Rotational and... Right. Well, good observation.
One other
there.
question?
Yeah.
So,
He's talking about this movement here.
yeah.
It's actually a spiral down.
And that motion ultimately, internally, is also downtown, rolling, like basically spiraling up and then spiraling down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now it becomes aware of this area, the central equilibrium. So David's showing us this movement and how this pelvis and the lower dantian spirals down, spirals up. Yeah, beautiful. Great observation. You're internalizing the very essence of the building blocks of the body, mind, breath, and energy workout. Body, mind, spirit, energy, and breath. The five building blocks coming together. We put both arms on the water. We make our pond basically very clear by letting the inner mud sink down. And now we see clearly into the water, and an acorn drops from the tree above into the center of our pond, and the ripple effects carry our arms like surfing on the waves. And with deep inhalation, we let go. Hands floating back to water level. Inner mud sinking down. Ripple effect carries the waves, carry the arms, deep inhalation. Letting go. Together, we come into soul celebration. Soul celebration, again, it's an orchestra of 8 movements that includes opening and closing, expanding the lungs and inner body, and contracting, spiraling up the spine and spiraling down. Deep inhalation and exhalation. It's time to focus not on our body, although the 8 movements are done automatically. It's time to focus on our soul, this muscle in our body and spirit called the soul, through GLC, G for gratitude, of who we are and what we are, and that we are here and what we have in life and what we don't. As a doctor, David see a lot of things that we wouldn't want to have in our lives, that patients has and come and complain about. We're grateful for not having all these issues. L for loving kindness, connects all our spirit with other people. Loving kindness. And C for compassion. Compassion for all the people who are hospitalized, rehabilitation, and needs care. And one last final. bow hands together for the interconnectivity of everything in our world. David, for the place. תודה רבה.